Return with us now to those thrilling days of yesteryear. In this case, the years 1964 and 1966, when the Beatles came to Cleveland. Dave Schwensen's written a book on the Beatles in Cleveland, going back to those two special events in 1964 and 1966, and is with us this morning. Good morning, Dave.
Good morning, Jeff.
Hey, why'd you decide to go back and chronicle those few days?
Well, you know, it's something was special. Actually, my parents, my mom and dad, took me to the concert at Cleveland Stadium, so I saw the Beatles. And over the years, I've talked about it.
How old were you?
Well, it gives away my age. I can't lie about my age anymore, but I was 13 at the time, so do the math. Over the years, people talk about, well, what's the best concert you've ever seen or whatever, and I always say, well, I got to see the Beatles, and I saw them in Cleveland. And it was a full-out riot. It was just at both shows
Public
they
Hall.
did. Yeah,
Actually,
at Public
both,
Hall and at Cleveland Stadium. The fans rioted, got up on stage, were tearing their clothes and everything else.
Let's start with the first one in 1964. Public Hall seats about 10,000 people.
Yes.
They stopped the show at some point?
They stopped the show. This was all new, you have to remember. In 1964, there had never been anything like this. There had been Elvis, but he'd been gone for a few years.
Right,
he was in the Army.
down.
So when the Beatles came to Cleveland, the police really couldn't understand what the big deal was. They were getting more security than JFK got the summer before when he was here. So they thought it was like a little babysitting duty. So when the Beatles came on stage, the police turned around to watch the show to see what all the fuss was about. And they didn't realize how the fans behind them were climbing over the chairs and climbing out of the balconies with sheets and getting ready to rush up on the stage.
That was Jerry G with the Beatles, and we're jumping ahead to 66 here, the big thing at the stadium. How many people came out for that at the old stadium?
Well, you know, they announced 26,000 fans, but there were really only about 20,000 people there.
Really?
When John Lennon's remarks came out earlier that summer that the Beatles were more popular than Jesus, ticket sales dropped.
No kidding.
Right.
Now, that was sponsored by WKYC, and there was a heated competition among the radio stations. Actually, at one point, there were 3 rock stations, and everybody was vying to get the Beatles.
Yeah, that became an interesting part of this story, because I wanted to write about the excitement and the adrenaline of seeing the Beatles and what was going on around them and what they were like in person and how they came to Cleveland and exactly what happened. But what I found out were how the top 40 radio stations in Cleveland kind of did some underhanded tricks, a little bit to promote the Beatles.
Hey, you talked to a lot of the disc jockeys, the guys who were prominent in Cleveland radio at that time. Who were the couple that were most helpful to you?
Jerry G. Was real big here in WKYC, and Big Jack Armstrong.
Your leader.
Your leader from WKYC, and he was the host of the show at Cleveland Stadium in 1966.
Now, last I knew, Jack was working in Winston-Salem. Is he still down there?
He's still down there.
And Jerry G has a restaurant in San Diego now, for those of you who would like to know.
We sat down in his Greek restaurant in San Diego to get to his interviews for the book. I interviewed the people who were with the Beatles and were part of this to put together it's more of a story. It's not like, at 2 o'clock Ringo had a glass of water at 2:01. No, this is more of the excitement and the adrenaline of what it's like to see them. And also from the stands. I had a lot of fans share their memories of what they felt and how they rushed the stage, how they got up there and they grabbed John Lennon.
It's called The Beatles in Cleveland. It's available in bookstores throughout Greater Cleveland. Dave, thanks for coming in, and good luck with your book.
Thank you very much.
And when Channel 3 News Today continues, we'll take one final stroll around the big Mutt Strut Party out in Lake County. And for all your news, weather, and sports anytime, click on to WKYC.com.